And what is up? I am Joe the Hoyos. I'm the host of Beyond the Woodline. And tonight I have with me Emily and Marianne from WTFrick Live or What the Frick Live. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm
We're
doing
good.
great, man. It was good talking to you guys right before we came on the air. We are having a pretty good conversation. And yeah, I like the whole flat earth kind of theory. Yeah.
we can ease into that a little bit later on. I don't want to
Yeah.
scare people off.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Emily. I'm very interested to hear about this too.
Yeah.
I, I'm just now getting involved in it.
Yeah. Okay.
When I hear people that are so passionate about something, they've done a lot of research because I had my great awakening in 2020 with things. These people just don't let up. So I started researching myself, and it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So, but we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
What people think, well, I'll just say this, okay? What people think with flat earthers is they think that the earth is like a cube or square, and there's just that cutoff point and you fall off the earth. That's not the case. You got the world, okay? And it's all flat, all the continents are there. And then you have the round um, Antarctica wall, and it goes all the way around. And if you go past that wall, then there's other lands that are out there. That's the flat earthers. And it kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. And they used to teach flat earth in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s in
Really?
school. It was actually in school textbooks and everything. And then if you go back and
Wow.
you start looking at all of the symbolism in all these government agencies that uses the world, they don't use a globe. You would think that they would. It's a flat earth. Like in the background, JFK on the airplane, Air Force One, he had the flat earth in the background and things. So the theory makes a lot of sense. I don't believe NASA worth diddly because NASA in Hebrew also means to deceive. So I don't believe in the moon landing. So I'm giving the flat earthers a chance, and I'm just researching it myself, and I'm just telling you I'm leaning more and more to a flat earth. So
Hmm.
there we go.
Yeah. I don't think the earth is flat. I think it's a globe, you know, just from what I've seen and
I
looked at.
did
And
too up until about 6 months ago.
yeah, well, I've looked into a lot of their theories, and then I've seen other scientists and doctors, or even astronauts and pilots say no, the earth is round. And I think especially pilots who have nothing to nothing to gain, by this because they could lose their license easily if they say
There's
earth is round.
Do you know a pilot? Have you asked a pilot personally?
Well, I've seen pilots like on YouTube,
Okay.
talking.
I
Yeah,
have family that's pilots.
right,
There is nothing in their flight pattern that substitute the curvature of the earth. It's a straight path.
right.
No curvature, nothing. So that's what they tell me. So then
Mhm.
I flat out asked, "Do you believe in flat Earth?" And the two pilots I know, they're like, "You need to research it out." They won't even tell me. So,
Hmm. Okay. Well,
but they say that there's no curvature.
yeah, I do know pilots. I actually know pilots who fly in the Air Force. I'll ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Ask
I'll ask
them.
them.
Ask them if they've seen UFOs in the sky too.
Now I know for a fact they will not answer that. I know for a fact because I've asked them that, and um, I'll say this much: I know they've been told that they do not put that in their reports. Do
Hmm.
not put that in their reports.
So they're not allowed to? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
They just told they're if they come back from their mission, well, this could be like just a daily, drill. They come back and when they give their report, they say don't put that in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just saw a comment. I don't know if I should be looking at comments. Is it
yeah, you
Lupe?
can.
Lupe? Is that how I
Yeah.
say it? Earth is flat like my first girlfriend.
Okay, Lupe, you need to behave, young man. That is one of my best friends in the whole world, Lupe
Well,
Mendoza.
that's
Hi,
funny.
Lupe. That was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah, he's We're gonna have to ignore Luke for the rest of the day. I think he's on a roll today. He was giving me a hard time on Facebook earlier. So he's on a roll. So what got you to start your own podcast, your own little talk show?
Well, What the Freak Live started out 5 years ago, and it started out for just something to do on Friday nights if we didn't have paranormal investigations. And used to have it was called Frickin' Frack Paranormal, so it used to be Frickin' Frack Fridays. And then with my one of my best friends, and then life happens, and she moved away and things, and so the second person I had on my show, he saw my first show. It was Steve DeShavi off Dead Files, and he messaged me on Instagram wanting to come see if he could come on the show. So he was the second person, and then it just kicked off from there. Then it just evolved into What the Frick Live. And I had a co-host with me for a long time, William Martinez. He has Dark Fringe Radio, and he due to work and things about a little over a year ago. I've had a very hard time finding co-hosts. Then I had personal things that went on. So I've taken like 6 months off. But then in the meantime, I met Marianne in the 6 months, and I was like, she's so much fun and she'd be perfect. And I talked to her about it, and she said yes. And so we started back up. Last Friday was the first official show, and we're going to be every Friday night at 9 p.m. on RU Media Network is the main network.
Okay.
So.
And Marianne, what got you involved into this crazy little stuff?
Oh boy. I'll just say Emily and I met on a different show that we were both on. I'm no longer part of it, and she is not either. I've always been interested in the paranormal. It's always fascinated me since I was a little girl. Had a lot of experiences, so it just came naturally that when she asked me, I was like, heck yeah, I love this stuff. I eat it up. So I was absolutely so excited to be part of this with her. And we've become fast friends. We talk all the time, don't we?
Yes. We do.
About everything.
Yeah, you name it.
So what is it that your show actually covers? What are your topics?
Oh gosh, everything paranormal. You like it, a little bit of everything too. Paranormal, UFOs. We have an alien guy coming on tomorrow night. Cult people. We have Heaven's Gate people that didn't. They're coming on. And just weirdos.
Weirdos.
We love the weirdos.
Yeah.
My kind of people.
Oh, yeah. I remember the one we were talking about today, Emily.
Yeah.
Is she going to come on?
I think so. So you remember the lady that married the ghost pirate that went viral? You remember that, Joe?
What was that one?
The woman that married the ghost pirate. They got divorced. She I think she's coming on the show. It'll be in August. But she
the ghost pirate?
Yeah, 300 years old.
Yeah.
I
you need to have them both on. That way
I know, that's what I was going to say. I should make a little thing on the side. Well, we got your ghost pirate here, and he needs to talk.
Yeah, you hear his side of the story.
Yeah. So just different things like that. And then I have some friends of mine that's had long-standing podcasts. They're coming on. We have Jessie Zabotar coming on. She was born into the Illuminati. She's everywhere now. She's all over the place. Really, really great person. She's been on before. She's coming on the second time. We're going to be talking about Disney with her and symbolism and all that kind of stuff. It's a really good summer, really, with all the shows coming up. So just a little bit of everything.
Cool. Yeah. I try to do a little bit of everything too. I've actually tried to get some police officers to come on and talk about some crime, like locally here in Houston.
Yeah.
Some like the unsolved mystery kind of stuff, So that's what I'm trying to get some guys to do, but they're kind of reluctant to do that. Not everybody wants to do it, especially active people, But I want to get some active unsolved mysteries going on here. That stuff.
There's on TikTok. There's a guy, I can send it to you. I started watching these things. He's a retired FBI agent. and he's actually telling some stories about like the high risk things that they went through and
Right.
some paranormal things on TikTok. I thought about asking him to come on the show, but if you're interested in that, I'll send you his info. Maybe you can reach out to him.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's weird though. I'm like, is it really true? I mean, this is this guy is not working for FBI anymore. Is he allowed? Like, but the stories are very interesting, and it keeps me there for 3 minutes each
Right.
video he does.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a guy. He's an older gentleman, and his granddaughter interviews him. Uh, he's like former CIA,
Uh-huh.
and she always asks him these weird questions from like, back when he was doing his thing, and he answers them honestly. He talks about like the Cuban Missile Crisis. He talks about like assassination attempts, stuff like that. I mean, he talks about,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty cool stuff. And he says he can talk about it now because he's been out for so many years.
Well, that might be the case too. But I get a little iffy on some of that, but I do like hearing those stories.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like that kind of stuff. I think that kind of leads to a lot of conspiracy theories and what's going on in the world, whether it's 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's always interesting to hear these theories. Uh, it's stuff that really makes you think. I guess kind of like the flat Earth thing. Really, it makes you
E-
think. When somebody comes up with so much uh, information, it doesn't sound like bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, I understand that.
when someone can talk to you and it's like, man, this it's not. It doesn't sound made up. And even sometimes when stuff is so crazy, it's like you can't be making this crap up.
Um, paramedics, nurses, police officers, anything in that field, they see the crazy of crazies. And, you know, that makes perfect sense what you said, Joe, because like I want them to speak out, but then when they finally get to speak out, like, is this real? Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
they see it all.
And Lupin made a pretty good comment right here about do a show on aliens and the
Mm.
different pyramids around
Hmm?
the world. Sorry for my typing. I'm running out of fingers. This guy's got like 4 fingers or 5 fingers. He's cut them all
Oh, I
off.
love his heart.
Um, but pyramids is something I'm really into. So I would like to find
Me
somebody to talk
too.
to about pyramids too. I love that.
Yes.
I love the whole theory and conspiracies with the pyramids also on like how were they built and because when you think about these rocks that they moved, these massive rocks,
Yeah.
it's like even if they use the ramps themselves would be a massive undertaking.
There's two things with this with me. Well, have you ever heard of Coral Castle in Florida? Ed,
No,
Ed, I can't remember. Shalinsky, something. Ed, he built all these big heavy stones and didn't have any of the architecture or the equipment to lift them and place them. That's in Florida. But also back in the time with this, if you look at Egyptian sculptures and stuff, everything was huge. Like all those things
Yeah.
were huge. There was giants in the land during that time, massive people, like 20 feet tall and things. So everything was oversized in Egypt. So I think that I have not researched aliens and pyramids, but I've researched the structure of that over there because our Statue of Liberty in the United States was actually formed from Egyptian ideology. So it could very well be giants that had helped put that stuff together.
yeah,
So
you're probably right. I think that, it would take a lot of muscle to move that stuff, but then also the way these things were cut and carved and shaped.
that's the
This was
little people.
yeah, the little people.
The little people cut and carved and shaped. The big people just stacked it together
Okay,
like Legos.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. But I love pyramid stuff, and I do a lot of research on YouTube on that kind of stuff. So as far as paranormal stuff, when was your first experiences with that?
I'll let Marianne answer that one.
Oh my. When do you want to hear? Let's see. There have been a lot of them. So, do you want my most interesting or do you want the very first one?
Yeah, talk about when it first started and when you
Okay.
realized it was paranormal.
Okay. So I've always been very interested.
Oh, oh, that's awful.
um, so I've always been very interested in it, very drawn to it. And I think there are certain people like Emily and me and yourself that are just more drawn to it. Some people, like my husband, who's laying on the couch, he just doesn't care. He's like, okay, whatever. Me, I'm like, this is so interesting. I could just make a living doing this stuff. So I've always been interested in it. The first time I can think of is when I was a child. My grandfather committed suicide, and he shot himself, and my mom was devastated. I mean, she was totally devastated, and she there were a couple things. So first was a dream visit, where she had asked, she's like, I just prayed that God would give me a sign that he's okay. I didn't know she had done that because I was like 8. I was really young. She didn't share that stuff with me. And I came downstairs one morning and I just felt like I had to tell her. I was like, hey, Papa came to see me last night. I was asleep, but it was in my dream. And he said he was okay and that he was in heaven and he was just coming to visit. And my mom just kind of froze. And she's like, oh my gosh, that was him. But then later we went on a walk where we used to walk together a lot. And we were in the country. There was nobody else around. There's no way that this could have happened. But have you ever heard of like being able to smell things when you normally it's like there's no explanation for why
Yeah,
you can
I do that constantly, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so we smelled his cologne and it was super strong and it was very distinct. It was a very specific kind that he used. And we both just stopped because there was nobody around. It was just us. And I was like, I froze and I looked at her and she looked at me. And at the same time, we both said, that's him. So I consider that like a little paranormal thing that happened. But that was the first time I can remember something happening. But there's a lot more that has happened since.
I'm sorry, Mary. How old were you when that happened?
So the dream, I was 8-ish.
Okay.
The walking and smelling the cologne was a few years after.
Okay.
So what happened in the dream exactly?
In my dream,
Yeah.
he just came to visit. I mean, I just saw him. I'll never forget. I saw colors. I saw the colors of his shirt. It was yellow and green. It was like checkered. But he was like, he just came to tell me he was in heaven. He was okay. And the weird thing is, my cousin, which was his grandson, told me that he saw him in the house after he died. He woke up in the middle of the night and went into the kitchen, and there he was in the kitchen. And he said, I just wanted to let you know I was okay. And, the fact that we both had those around the same time,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And there's going to be people that say, oh, you're nuts, you're crazy. Okay, maybe I am. But this is what I experienced, like it or not. So, that's what happened.
Right.
That was my reality. That's what I experienced.
Okay. You reminded me of a story when you talked about that. So I've always been into the paranormal. I love the paranormal. Um,
Yeah, me too.
but this past April, it was my mom's birthday, 72 years old.
Oh,
Um,
happy birthday.
yeah, we had a party for her. It was on a Sunday. I don't remember what the date was, but it was in April. It was after her birthday. Um, so we had this party, and there was a lot of people there at the house, and it was on a Sunday. So that Monday, my brother calls me and he says, "Hey, Maddie, which is my niece, she's 15." He said, "Maddie told me that she heard my dad's voice. That she heard dad's voice, and she came up to my brother and said, 'Hey, Uncle Jesse, I keep hearing Grandpa in my head.'" And she's like, my brother asked, "Well, what's he saying?" And he's saying, because my dad's been dead for 12 years, 10 years, 10 years. He's been past 10 years. So Maddie said that she heard my dad say, "I'm glad your grandma's having a party. She deserves it, and I love her very much," right? So then on that Tuesday, they were actually going to my dad's grave to go, visit him. My uncle, who was at the party, called my brother and said, "Hey, let's not go because it's going to be raining and it gets real muddy." My brother's like, "Okay." He says, "But I got something to tell you." He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" He says, "Sunday at the party, your aunt heard your dad's voice too, and he told my aunt
Ah.
that he was glad my mom was having a party and that she deserved it, and that when her time comes, he will be there waiting for her.
I am tearing up. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh
So
my
they
God.
both heard it the same day, but neither one of them knew that the other one heard it. Yeah,
It's awesome when two people, the number two, to me, that's just confirmation.
yeah,
So two people heard it.
Yes.
yeah. And they
That's
both heard
Yes.
basically
confirmation.
the same message, other than what my aunt heard, that he would be there
Yeah.
for her when she comes through. Yeah, he
That's
told
Wow.
both of them
so,
that he
that's
was happy
awesome.
for her.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Was anybody videotaping or anything during
We have a
this?
lot of
Or
pictures and a lot of video, and I've been going through my phone, and I
okay.
can't see anything on there. So
Or
yeah,
even
I
just
was already doing that.
like, because I do a lot of EVP work. So even if
Right.
you could just hear it,
Yeah,
you know.
Well, so my aunt heard it during because we had mariachis for my mom,
Uh huh.
and I actually posted live on Facebook. So if you go through my feed, you might find the mariachis, and that's when my
Okay.
aunt heard it. She said when the mariachis were playing. So how do you hear that over them? And we were in a house, so it would have to be pretty
Well,
loud.
the software I have, I take videos and then I extract the audio from
Right.
it and put it into this software, and then I look at the waves, the audio waves and the hertz levels and everything. So, and that's how I listen for EVP.
Okay.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah, he's getting deleted and blocked right as we speak.
What guy?
MOHD Fitus.
Was he saying something?
Just all
Just
kinds of different letters.
just typing away these crazy letters, and
Yeah.
somebody's over here trying to uh, promote his tarot card reading.
Oh, I get those too on Facebook.
Yeah, if you got to
Come
promote your
on,
tarot
Yeah.
card
people.
readings, yeah, you got to promote your tarot card readings, and you must not be very good.
No.
Yeah.
And please, everybody, if you see this out and you get these messages on Instagram, especially, like, I know exactly when who follows me. They want me to follow back, and if I follow back, like in 10 seconds, I get like, I am a love doctor or something. Like the spirit told me to contact you.
Yeah.
A
No,
love doctor?
I've had those. I'm a love
I got a text message
doctor.
on my phone one day, and a guy told me he was a hitman and that he was going to perform a hit on me. Yeah, and that he had people watching me, and he was going to give me a chance. I said, "Well, you're a sucky ass hitman." Then I asked him if he believed in Bigfoot, if he believed in aliens, if he believed in Men in Black, and a bunch of other crazy questions, and he stopped texting me. So
My
Did
God.
you look up the phone number where it came from?
it was probably a fake generated phone. It was from actually from like California. It was like a 515 or
Uh
512
huh.
area code. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tried calling him back. Yeah, yeah. It's
He
crazy.
didn't answer.
No, he didn't answer. I guess maybe the Bigfoot stuff scared him off.
I'd be like, I'm glad to meet you. We are in the same kind of
Hey, you
field.
want to be on my show?
Yeah,
Be like,
really.
Yeah.
you're a hitman.
I've never had a hitman on
I'm
my show before.
I'd be like, you're a hitman. I'm a hitman. Like, how do I not know you?
Yeah, it's fun, crazy. So when you
But
talk about conspiracies, what are some of your favorite conspiracies to talk about?
oh, JFK,
JFK,
CIA,
always a classic. And of course, the moon
CIA,
landing. We talked about
JFK.
the moon landing a little bit.
Moon landing definitely fake.
Yeah.
You think it's fake?
Yes, and Stanley
I have a
Kubrick.
lot of trouble believing we went to the moon landing. We landed on the moon. I have a lot of trouble believing that.
Well, Stanley Kubrick, I don't know if you've seen his videos before he
Right.
passed away. He came out and talked about that he filmed it,
Right.
And then if you know how space is supposed to be, it's like a vacuum,
Yeah.
and everything, and how they landed and all that kind of stuff, and how, like, he had a hard time with the top. No,
Yeah.
it didn't happen. That was
Yeah.
this MK Ultra. That's one of my favorites. MK Ultra. It's the truth, though. There's all kinds of declassified information. Stranger Things. I don't know if anybody's a fan of it, but I'm a super fan, and Stranger Things. It's season 4, volume 1. Volume 2 is coming out. Volume 1, they absolutely put everything together like magnificent. You got MK Ultra. You got Deep Dream Operation. Moon landing is real. Lupe, I'm sorry.
I love cheese.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
where we
I
get
love
all of our cheese.
I love cheese.
Um,
Great.
the deep dream operation where they do a lot of hypnotism and things. There's
Right.
so much symbolism in there, and the gateway operation with where they use gateways. Stranger Things is also based on true stories. So,
Right.
um, probably MK Ultra is probably the best conspiracy theory that comes out to be true, but we have been mind conditioned ever since the television, especially. Um, and then they go and they take these kids and they do whatever they want to, which I still think that they do that. But television and a lot of this stuff too. I don't want to talk much about this, but in Stranger Things season 4, volume 1, there's a lot of Russia stuff in this too. So a lot of mind control dealing with Russia, pretending Russia was the bad people way back in the day. So you're going to see, I can't say that name because if you watch Stranger Things season 3, but there's a significant person in Russia in season 4. So you got to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think me and my husband are going to watch it now because I just downloaded Netflix.
They do a lot of the mirror play, a lot of mirrors, which is also used in MK
Right.
Ultra and all that other stuff. It's fabulous how they put it all together. Really, it really truly is, and I cannot wait for. Now, my mom is not into all this conspiracy stuff, and she said I can't get into season 4. I've watched everything else. I've watched till like episode 3, and I quit. I'm like, you have no idea what the government's done all these years, Mom. And then I start trying to tell her. My mom's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I love it.
I haven't seen it yet, so I guess I gotta see.
MK Ultra is probably the number one conspiracy, if you want to call it conspiracy now, because there is declassified information on it. But and then the JFK, CIA, the Bushes, George Bush, Obama is related to the Bushes. I don't know if anybody knows that.
I've heard that before too.
Yeah, so they are all tied in together, and then which brings us into 9/11. So I'm more of a political government conspiracy theorist rather than aliens, paranormal stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I can get with that because I believe, this government is something else, man. This is the greatest country in the world, but this government is something else.
Woo! Yeah.
We could probably do a whole show.
I don't want to say too much. I don't want you to get banned.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
yeah, really.
We'll get shut down easily.
Yeah.
They come after people for talking about Bigfoot. They'll come after us talking about this stuff.
I don't understand that.
Let me tell you this. On TikTok, I go and follow people and I save videos as favorites.
There you go. That's a perfect one.
Movie Weekend at Bernie. Yeah, that's Let's go, Brandon. That's definitely Biden. Weekend at Biden's. But on TikTok, I'll tell you this too. What they censor a lot is end time prophecy, because I'm all about that too. And I have categories where I say videos. Out of all the things I have, like conspiracy, Bigfoot, paranormal, so I go back and I research. I have church and end time prophecies. Church and end time prophecies, when I go back in to check these videos to see what I saved, it's the most deleted stuff I've ever seen.
Wow.
Like I have over 100 videos under church, and I probably have maybe 20 on there that I can see now. Everything else is just grayed out. So, yeah. Way more than all this other stuff.
Yeah. I've tried to post certain stuff on Facebook, and it never even will post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So I guess that just... Yeah, you don't even get a warning. It's just like, we're not even going to let you post it.
It looks like it's going to say finishing, and then it just never posts.
Right, yeah. You're not even going to post this.
Here's a conspiracy. I think Zuckerberg is CIA.
Hmm.
He is a CIA agent. Marianne's smiling. I think he is. He looks like an alien too.
Yeah, I've seen the little reptoids eye slits that people do. The reptilian eye slits.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
There's a scripture that says, "Beware of the generation of vipers." That's looks reptilian snake.
Hmm.
He's part of it. He's part of it. We know that. We are.
Yeah.
Everybody, let's just agree with him. He is not human. He's alien, and he works for the CIA. That's it.
Yeah. He lives on the other side of the moon.
Cheers to Zuckerberg.
There you
We
go.
know you. We know what you're up to. Even daggone Andy Cohen for New Year's Eve. I don't know if anybody watched that. That was the greatest thing. He's like, Zuckerberg, we know what you're doing.
Who did that?
Andy Cohen off of Bravo television.
Oh no, I didn't watch that.
We know what you're up to, Zuckerberg. He was super drunk, so
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. He's
it's
drunk.
pouring the rain if you hear anything.
So let's get back to the paranormal, Marianne. Let's hear more of your stories, more of your encounters. Did you ever have anything that like legit scared you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Where do I begin? I would say back in 2012, I was asleep. And a lot of my experiences have happened when I'm asleep. And like, it's as I'm waking up. I don't know why. But at the same time, it was very real. So I was asleep and I was, it was the middle of the night. And I woke up and there was this face kind of like in the dark, but I could see it. Does that make sense? It's like, it's weird, but you can see it. And it was like up above me. And it's like these black eyes. The eyes were just black. And it was just for a split second. And it scared me. I just pulled the covers over my head and I was like, okay, I don't want to see you. And that was creepy. I don't know what that was. To this day, I don't know what it was. Any suggestions? Feel free, but I don't know what it was.
Was that the only time you saw it?
That one, yes, but there's others I'm gonna go into now. So
You don't want to go into, or
no, I will go into.
Okay, go into. I'm sorry, Joe. I want to hear some more.
No, take over. Take over the show. I'm listening to.
The other time,
she hasn't told me all of this. I know about that first one you haven't said. Well, maybe you have told me a little bit.
The rest of them, a lot of them happened this past summer. That's when stuff really started ramping up. And my husband and I, we kind of travel back and forth. We go between our place in the middle of the state of North Carolina and then on the coast, which is where my mother's family lives. And over the summer, we were staying in the guest house that they have. And my mom has always told me there is so much crazy stuff that goes on there. When she was living there herself, because almost everybody in the family has lived there at some point, she said in the middle of the night, she had woken up and there was a dark figure standing over her. And to date, up until that point, I hadn't seen anything like that. So I was like, okay, that's really creepy. I believed her. And then she said, yeah, and it felt like somebody grabbed my toe. And I'm like, grabbed your toe? That's weird. And then my Aunt Rachel lived there as well. And she said the shower turned itself on when she was living there. And, this is multiple people living there. And then right next to this guest house is my great-grandmother's old house, okay? That house was creepy as well. One of my other aunts lived there, and she saw the dark figure standing over her one night at the exact same time that my mom did, because they talked to each other the next day, and it was 3 a.m. Both of them had seen a dark figure standing over their bed. And that, that was crazy to me. Well, my husband and I were staying there over the summer. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night and there was the dark figure. It was like to my right. It was this tall man looking thing.
Like a shadow figure?
Yeah, it was kind of leaning against the wall and it was just staring at me, just watching. And I was like, oh, what the heck is that thing? And my husband was there. And I was like, what is that? And I just kind of, stayed in the bed and it went away, but it was there.
Oh.
And later, when my husband had left, I was still laying in bed. It was still dark because he had to go to work. I felt something sit down on the bed next to me, and there was nothing there.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. And then something also, I felt like something went like this to my toe. And I'm like, okay, something's going on here. Something's going on. But then, let's see. I don't want to sound like a loony, but I guess I already do. So
you're in good company, Marianne. You're in good
I look for
company.
Bigfoot in the woods. So
this same house, I came home one day and my husband was already there. He was sitting in the corner, and he's a truck driver, so he was working on some tests that he has to keep his certification. But I didn't know that. I thought he was watching YouTube. I said, "Hey, babe, what you watching on YouTube?" He was like, "Nothing. I'm taking a test." And I'm like, "Well, why do I hear talking?" Okay, this is where I was like, "Oh, dear God, please tell me I'm not crazy." And I saw that comment.
Yeah.
It's like, dear God, I don't want to be crazy, but I hear somebody talking. It was like conversations. And I was standing right by like the vent. And I was like, at first I was like, is the vent making noise? And I put my ear to the vent and I didn't hear anything from the vent, but it was like this muffled conversation of multiple people. And my husband wasn't on his phone watching anything, and I wasn't on my phone, and the TV wasn't on. And I'm like, what am I hearing? And all of this happened at this, like in the span of like a week at the same house. And then this involves another person, but my mom and I were like, let's have our friend Shelly come to the house, because Shelly, she's really into the paranormal, and she said she would bless the house and sage it and see if she could get some stuff out. And
Thank you, Sherry. By the way.
Our friend Sherry came. Shelly.
I was like, Sherry, here we go.
Our friend Shelly came to the house, and years ago, my mom had told me that there were 2 little boys that were buried on my grandparents' property. Okay, right near this house as well. They had died at the turn of the century. They were the sons, I think, of people that worked on the farm, like farmhands. And this is like probably late 1800s. Okay. They had both died young and tragically, but nobody knew how. And they had just been buried in unmarked graves across from my family cemetery. And I always felt like, man, that's really sad. I'd love to give them a memorial. And I started asking around, hey, does anybody know what their names were? Nobody knows. Well, it was interesting because our friend Shelly did not know about these boys. And she just happened to tell us that day that she had seen 2 little boys dressed like they were from the turn of the century sitting in the tree at my family's graveyard. They matched the description that my mom had given me of what they looked like. And I'm like, so someone saw them now. Okay. So that was crazy to me. And then Shelly came to the house and she saged it. And I remember when I had been in one of the closets, I always felt very uneasy. And that was the first place she went and said, there's something here in this closet. And she said, this is your prankster. She said, this is who's grabbing your foot and sitting on your bed. And she said, they're not harmful. They're just wanting to be silly. And then she said something about, she engaged in a dialogue with this entity. And she said, I don't care if you don't want to leave, you need to leave. So apparently it was arguing with her. And I'm like, oh, this is a whole new thing. She's arguing with a ghost. Okay. Yes. So, and then she told me that the feeling she got about the dark figure was somebody that died. She said he was in his 30s. And he died, gosh, I think same time frame, turn of the century. And he died young. She said she thought he might have been hanged, and that he just wanted to scare people. And that's what he liked to do. And that he wasn't good. So that's like it seems like that part of my family's farm, it's a big farm and it's been in the family for generations. There has been so much activity there. Another thing that happened, my family, we have a blueberry farm. It's big, it's very big. And in the summer, they hire a lot of people to work. And there are these two men that were working one summer, and they pulled my mom aside one day and said, we need to tell you something. And they said,
Ooh.
we're driving home last night around midnight, because sometimes they finish really late. And they said, right across from your family graveyard, there was a woman dressed in all white standing in the road. And they said, she just turned and looked at us and vanished. And they said, both of them saw her. They weren't related. They were just co-workers, but they both saw her. And they were both so scared. They said, we will never drive down that road at midnight again. And I'm like, something's going on at my family's cemetery/farm, because there's too much stuff happening. Too much.
We need to go investigate, Marianne.
Yes, ma'am. Come on.
We need to investigate. I want to see the one. There's always a woman in white.
There always is. There always a woman in white.
Hey, did you ever see the woman in white, Marianne? Or?
No, I haven't seen her, but I'd like to. I know that sounds really crazy because most people are like, I don't want to see it. I'm like, I do. Dang it. Why can't I see her? Yeah. But she, I wonder if it was someone that's buried in the graveyard. I always wondered that, is it somebody that's one of my family members that's dead? It's just that stuff that's unanswered. I would just love to know.
Yeah, I lived in a house where two elderly people had passed away, and they were the only owners of this house ever. So no one else had ever had this house. They moved in like right after World War II, and they had it all the way up to the, I guess, late '90s, maybe even early 2000s. And so when we moved in, this was back when I was married. When we moved into this house, uh, we weren't even there 2 weeks, and we all started experiencing stuff. We heard footsteps, stuff getting moved around. Someone like was sitting on the bed. I wasn't even there a week, and I felt like somebody sat on the bed. And at the time, I had a boxer, and I thought it was him trying to get on the bed because he knew better than to get on our bed. And I sat up real quick, and I said, "Get your ass down," And he wasn't even there, And then
do they like to sit on the bed?
I guess, but then one morning it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I used to go in at 6:30, and I was sitting on the edge of the bed contemplating getting up and getting dressed, going to work. And I felt someone like jab me in the ribs. I physically felt like I got poked in the ribs. Yeah. Um, my kids too, they've all been like tapped on their shoulder. One night I came home and it was late at night and my daughter was playing video games and I was taking off my jacket. It was cold and I was taking off my jacket. Excuse me. And so she turned it around real quick and she looked at me. She goes, "Stop." But she looked at me and she kind of realized I was pretty far away from her. And she kind of made this face like, what the heck was that? And I was like, "What's going on with you?" She goes, "Somebody just poked me in the ribs. I thought it was you." But she saw me taking off my jacket. So she knew that it wasn't me. Yeah,
hold on. I'm going to show you all something here about sitting on the bed, if I can bring it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah.
If you want to share this out, but
yeah, one night I felt I didn't feel I saw somebody standing next to me in the bed. It was a black figure. They were standing next to my bed, and they moved towards me. I threw a kick at it, but it was a woman. I could tell it was a woman, and I got scared. I don't think it was trying to scare me. I think I'm the one that got scared.
Yeah. Was this in that same house?
Yeah, the same house. Yeah.
But the whole figure was black?
Yeah, the whole figure was black, but you could definitely tell it was a woman.
Okay. I was on this show called Paranormal Journeys, and we were on Roku, and we were top 10 downloads on Roku, seasons 3 through 5. Now, this, I think, was season 2. I wasn't involved in this, but I tell you, I worked with these people and nothing's fake. This is the only time I've ever seen anything, and this is 6 minutes and something long, so I can skip through it a little bit, but earlier in the night, the bed closest to the hour can't actually move. The movement was witnessed by 2 investigators while monitoring the DVR system. Let's see if it says anything, and let's just see. See if you can see this
So I'm
bed
checking
move.
it out, seeing if I can see anything to do this.
I think they saw it and then they're like, the bed moved, or
Let me see. I'm
it
gonna set the
does it
camera on
again.
this table, dude, right next to the IR, to see if we can get a shot, so we can just record ourselves recording. You know.
All right.
So we set this down here.
Hang on. That guy's JR. This
Yeah,
is
it says I'm
Neil.
actually going to set the handheld up on the table next to the camera to try to get a better shot of me and Lonnie. Sort of have our
Or
own
that's
camera.
Lonnie. I'm sorry. They're brothers. They look the same. That's Neil.
Is anyone in here with us right now? Because we thought we seen you move the bed.
Watch this. Up towards the pillows.
I'm gonna sit down right here. Chill out. I'm gonna turn my flashlight. Let's just do an EVP session if you want. See if we can get anything.
I actually heard a female's voice there too. I don't know if anybody heard it watching this. But
Is anyone in there with us tonight? So I thought I seen you move the bed here, and I don't see there's nothing that could have done it for you. Please feel free to do it again.
oh, there's what happened.
Is it you?
Yeah, kind of. This water's kind of running in here.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, just let it go then.
This is at a haunted bed and breakfast in Tennessee that I did actually investigate with them, because we went back to this obviously because the evidence that they got the first time was.
I can't rewind to see.
Is this a known area?
I'm almost positive.
This is in Tennessee.
So is there any way you could do it again for me, please? I mean,
I haven't watched this video in a long time, so
could you please do it again?
hold on. Here we go. Watch this. Well, they got to have that dramatic music in there, don't they?
Right. Yeah. It's got me on the edge of my seat.
Watch the head of the bed that this device is on.
Okay.
See it push down?
Oh yeah.
And it comes back up. Here we go.
Oh.
Watch this one more time. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Handheld camera now.
Oh yeah.
And I worked with these people, like they don't make up any, like that
Right.
was for real. But this is
Wow. Oh my gosh. What is
I
it with people sitting on the bed?
I don't know, but the that is a bed and breakfast down in Murfreesboro, Kentucky, not Tennessee. I think it's the Kentucky side. We filmed again there in season 3. I believe that was season 2, which I was not affiliated with that show, but season 3 that was on Roku when we were top 10 downloads for season 3, 4, and 5. The Paranormal Journeys. I don't know if it's still up there, but I still talk to Neil. He's the producer and everything. He's wanting to do a reunion special and get us all back together and like go to a couple places and film. But that was a long time ago too. So, but yeah, that's the only. I've never had a bed experience like that. So, but they caught that on film, and it's interesting.
That is crazy.
So I'll tell you a story off the air. I don't want to say it on the air because it's kind of a private story and it's not really my story. But at that same house, my cousin came all my cousins, like 5 different cousins, came. They were going to do some work on the house. You know, all us Mexicans have cousins that can do construction work, right? So they were going to come and do some work. They were going to
You may
remodel
want
the.
to come to Kentucky, just holler, okay?
There you go. They were going to do some like the little hallway and the restroom. They're going to remodel all that. So my cousin was talking. He was telling us what he was going to do. Right, kind of going through the plans. We're going to do this first. We'll do this first. Whatever. So we're in the kitchen, and he stops and he's looking down at his arm, right, like at his forearm. And he's looking at my cousin who's standing to the right of him. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" My other cousin's like, "I'm not doing anything." So he's talking again. He's going through the motions, and he looks at my cousin again. He says, "Dude, are you grabbing me?" He goes, "Dude, I'm standing way over here." He goes, "You would see me if I grab you because we're pretty much out in the open. We're in the kitchen." So he kind of stands in the corner of the kitchen where he can see everyone. And he's talking again. And he looks down at his arm and he comes over there. He walks across the kitchen to me. He grabs my arm. He squeezes my forearm. He's like, "Dude, it feels like someone's squeezing my arm like this." And he squeezes my arm really, really tight. So we kind of tell him, "Well, this is what the house is." And we told him the house was haunted. And so the next morning he came in and started working. And he says, "Hey, come look at my arm." And he holds his forearm up, right?
Oh
He's got
my.
4 fingerprint bruises on his arm.
Ooh,
Yeah. So I guess the spirits didn't want him working on the house.
wow.
Yeah.
I've seen that before though with
Yeah.
people. I've never got scratched, I don't think, or touched. Which I go into it where I don't want to be touched. Like I put that boundary up for me. Like you cannot touch me. You're not allowed. Like it could breeze. Like it could push a breeze over me. All that kind of stuff. But you can't pull my hair. Like I don't like that stuff.
I have a bruise story. I have a bruise
Oh.
story.
Okay.
But this is a little different than your friends. So I went to sleep one night, and has anybody ever had what they call sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Scary, scary stuff. Okay. I was like, it's like, but the weird thing is, with this particular incident, my eyes were closed and I felt like I wasn't fully in my body. I know that sounds really creepy, but it was like almost like I was I wasn't in my body. I don't know how else to explain it. It felt really weird. And it almost felt like I slammed back into it. I don't understand it, or maybe it was just sleep paralysis and I couldn't move. But when I woke up that morning, and I have pictures on my phone of this, I had bruises all over my arm, like little finger.
Wow.
I don't know what it was.
I wonder
But-
if you were actually floating up, because that happens.
What, my body, or just
Yeah, you physically floating up, and then you fall down, and it like snaps you back.
I don't know. But I woke up with bruises all over my arms and I was freaked out. And the sleep paralysis happens every several years. It's not all the time, but it's so scary because it's like you're awake, but you can't move. You can't talk. You can't do anything. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Out of body experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I find those interesting, and I'm like, I wonder what it's like. And then I'm like, well, if that's what it's like, maybe I don't want to do it, or maybe I'm doing it wrong. But that was very, very scary. And I don't know how I got those bruises. I still wonder how I got them.
I'd say it's from that. I mean, if you didn't have any other issues going on or anything, it has to be from that. And it might be just like a shoving back down or trying to pick you up out of whatever, your physical body. I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
It was
never heard.
crazy.
I've heard of people having that. I've never heard of that coming with bruises. So that's really kind of strange. Yeah.
I'll show you guys a picture. I've got it.
Let's look at Parapost Central says, your spirit leaves your body but still linked to you. You can go to the other places doing that. I am known to do it. I remember what I see sometimes.
Is that Sherry? Sherry, I want to talk to you because I got some stories for you. I got some weird stories that I've had happen to me here recently. I'm not sure it's all paranormal.
It's something about your dreams, and that's why I don't ever watch Freddy Krueger. Because, like, I remember being a young girl and watching Saturday Night Nightmares, and my mom would let us watch this stuff. And it's the only thing I've ever watched with Freddy Krueger. This girl was in a dream, and she was in a dollhouse, and Freddy Krueger ends up being in that dollhouse, and that was it for me. Done. And I was probably 10 years old, maybe younger, and I was like, just even being that young, and I grew up in a haunted home, I was like, there's just something about going to sleep in your dreams. And
Mhm.
really, I think there's more positive stuff that comes out of it, but there's also that negative. And I will not ever watch a Freddy Krueger movie to this day. I've never seen it. Never seen one of them. No. You got Freddy Krueger in the dollhouse? And I had dollhouses? No.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Have you ever been anywhere that's had like possessed like dolls or anything like that?
Not me. Emily?
I can let you all listen to some EVPs if you want to, real quick, if I can pull it up.
Yeah.
I do not believe in haunted objects until this doll. It's a clown doll, so go figure, right?
Oh yeah, that's like.
Hold on, let me see if I can sign in.
Yeah,
I
you know,
haven't
I've
signed
got an
in.
EVP from that house. I'll send you that EVP.
Hold on, let's see. Let me do
My
it this
son,
way.
I told my son to go grab my recorder because my daughter had saw a dark figure in their bedroom, go from one corner to the other, and so I told my son, I said, "Hey, go grab my recorder," and he went to my room, grabbed my recorder. He came out and he went straight to the girls' room without us knowing, and he came back, man. He was white as a ghost. He goes, "Dad, you gotta listen to this." And he played it, and he asked, "Is anybody here with us?" And you hear a voice go, "Yeah."
I got
So,
so many. I get a lot of. I do. I'm not being in to brag, but that's what I do is EVP work. So I grew up in a musically talented family. So sound and music, all that kind of stuff has been really close to me all my life. I can literally put up a sound wave and can look at the sound wave and tell you if there's an EVP in it.
oh,
That's
really?
so cool.
Yeah. So hold on here. I'm going to share my screen again. This is Bobo, the haunted clown doll.
So it was yours?
No, it's not mine. No, I would never have that. This is somebody that still has it. I don't want to mention his name, but we're doing an EVP session with this doll, and he got it from a home that was having problems. But you're going to listen. It actually sounds like a cartoon character. I have several. Oh, I got 6 or 7 EVPs from this thing. But listen, this one, you're going to hear like some giggling right here because I like SoundCloud, by the way. If anybody wants to do EVP work and put it up on SoundCloud, then you can make comments where you hear the EVP here where my picture is, and you can hear it, and then you can keep playing back. So I use SoundCloud a lot. But this is, you're going to hear it giggle, and you're going to hear me say, I hear that. And he's like, no, I have like the ghost box. I said, no, it's something else. And you're going to hear, I did that. It's a cartoon voice. All right, listen, and I'll play it a couple times, but here we go. Hear the giggle?
Oh,
No. There was a no.
I did that.
No. Shit, I'm getting creeped out.
I got creeped out. Listen.
I know.
Giggle.
I know. I hear the PSP7.
What was that?
I don't know what that is. This means.
No, there was a no. There was
Doing
a
that.
no. There was
Doing
a
that.
no.
I did that.
No.
Did y'all hear that?
yeah, that's creepy.
Is that the picture of the doll?
Yeah.
Oh,
So do you think it's a ghost that is attached to the doll?
I think it's demonic. Because the Bible talks about a lot of artifacts being possessed by demonic entities, because if they escape one thing, they're going to go to another place. And then, you have the Ark of the Covenant too that has the Holy Spirit. I think hold on, listen to this one. This one's creepy too. It says stay forever. Same voice. Same voice. Listen.
Get a little hand.
David, put him up. Get
Stay
your face up.
forever.
Put him up. Put him up. Put him up.
And I'm saying, like, put the face up in like the camera. Like, we're trying to set everything up. This was not, it was a mess at this point right here, but it says stay forever. Same voice.
Put him up. Put him up.
Did y'all hear that one?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Super creepy, haunted freaking clown doll, which everybody knows about clowns. It says Jessica here. Here. Jessica.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know what that means. Here's hi, hi, hi. See, we were using the ghost box. But that's in the background. Hi, hi, hi. Same cartoon voice. It's a cartoon voice. So, anybody wants to do EVP stuff, I highly recommend. You can have a free account for a long time on SoundCloud if you just put your Class A's in there and put it.
I send you my EVP on Messenger service right now.
And hold on. I do want to play this last one. And I'll tell you what this is the best EVP I've ever captured in my entire life. This is the Culbertson Mansion in New Albany, Indiana, and it says "Shut up." This is just me, one other person, and the tour guide. Like, used to go like in the middle of the day and like go to these places and attack them a little bit and like they would let us go through and like do like free EVP sessions. This "Shut up." I'm telling you, you're gonna hear all three of us talk, and you're gonna hear "Shut up."
No.
Nashville?
No. I've been by there.
We're in Miami. I live right by it.
By there.
We're in Miami. I live right by it.
Shut up. Did
Yeah,
y'all
I'm
hear
just tired
that?
of hearing you. Shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. So, but yeah, use SoundCloud if you have EVP work, especially your Class A, Class B stuff. I put it up there. I've had a free account for 6 years, I think now, with just my Class A's. Yeah, you have plenty of time to post all that stuff up there.
Well, cool beans. Yeah, like I said, I sent you the EVP. So if you guys
Okay, awesome.
Y'all can give it a listen to, tell me what you think. But yeah, we're going over our hour, which went by pretty fast.
It
did.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. I appreciate everybody in the chat room looping. I appreciate you too, you doggone clown, you. Hey, you guys have anything to add? You guys want to say anything to the folks out there, or let them know how to contact you if they want to listen to the show? Or...
Marianne, do you want to say anything first, or?
No, just they can contact us through What the Frick Live if they want to watch us.
What the Frick Live every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go follow facebook.com/RU Media Network. That's the main page that we'll be on. I stream to all other pages too, but oh, that's my speaker going off back there. Anyway, just go follow them. If you know Adam Kimmel in his haunted location, it's his team that runs that site. So that's facebook.com/RU Media Network. And we're there every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Friday, we have Mr.
Raymond.
Government scientist at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for 40 years that has witnessed UFOs. And I got his book, Swamp Gas My Ass. Sorry. He also has a book called Victoria's Secret. So I'm going to have Marianne talk to him about Victoria's Secret. Let's see what comes of it. But that's tomorrow, or that's Friday night at 9 p.m. this Friday. So cool. We appreciate it. Just go over there, follow RU Media Network.
Well, cool beans, guys. I thank you a lot for coming on, man. It was really entertaining, really fun. We got to do this again because there's
thank you for having us.
Yes.
This was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Thank you.
Well, cool. Yeah, you guys hold on. I want to tell you that story before I let you guys go.
Okay. Yes.
Hold on, real quick. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next week.